206 northbound at Flanders Nedcong Road in Mount Olive with an overturned tractor trailer, and all lanes have just been shut down there. In Westchester, westbound 287, right after exit 7, we got an accident with 2 lanes closed. And eastbound on 287, right before exit 6 for Broadway, we've got an accident. The eastbound Northern State has a broken down car between exits 29 and 30. For the Northern State Parkway, you can take the LIE, IU Willits Road, Williston Avenue. There's a whole bunch of alternates. And then if you're traveling on the mass transit, everything looks great. We're running on or close to schedule, so take it into the city today. Traffic coming up in less than 10 minutes. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, they're getting ready to light the tree in Rockefeller Center tonight, but the celebration won't come without demonstrations.
In fact, the NYPD expecting multiple demonstrations tonight over the Israel-Hamas war in the midst of this 90-year holiday tradition. Fatah Mohammed is the organizer of one of these that is planned. He's with the Palestinian American Community Center.
I think it's great to have protection for everybody, but I think our intention and our goal is to go in peacefully and just raise awareness on what's going on.
NYPD Chief of Patrol John Shell tells 1010 Wins.
We'll be giving warnings that you got to stay in the pen. To come out of the pen will be trespass from Rockefeller Center, and we'll address that if need be. But we expect a secure, fun night. Come on out, enjoy the tree.
The 80-foot Norway spruce that used to live in Binghamton and now resides here, well, it's ready to go. 5 miles of lights, and it'll stay lit till January 13th. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Rockefeller Center.
Wow, 12 miles of lights. That is incredible. Wins News Time, 7:44. 12 more hostages were released from Gaza yesterday. 10 Israelis, 2 foreign nationals. The extended ceasefire is supposed to garner the release of 20 more hostages over the next 2 days.
Secretary of State Blinken is headed to the region, and they're working to try to extend that ceasefire after it expires, hoping that some of the 9 American citizens the FBI still believes are being held in Gaza are included. Now, the White House saying it does not think that Hamas is trying to use those American citizens as leverage, but so far only a single American, that 4-year-old Abigail Adan, has been released.
That's correspondent Matt Gutman. International mediators appeared to make progress this morning on extending the truce in Gaza, encouraging Hamas to keep freeing hostages in return for the release of Palestinian prisoners. So what's it been like for the hostages being held in Gaza?
We learned more from the Israeli hostages about their conditions in captivity.
She told me sometime the food was not enough and the water was not enough. She told me in some points they had a small bottle of water for each person for 2 days.
Yair Rotem says his niece, 13-year-old Ilah, emerged on Saturday thinner, pale, and quieter, but is improving.
That's correspondent Lilia Luciano. Israel continues to say once the truce expires, they will keep going on their invasion of Gaza in order to rid the area of Hamas. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is scheduled to give an address on the Senate floor today. The topic, the dangerous and disturbing rise of anti-Semitism in America. Well, the numbers show since the Hamas attack on Israel back on October 7th, there's been a 400% spike in anti-Semitic attacks across the country. Mr. Schumer is the highest-ranking Jewish official in American history and is set to speak out this morning against what he calls a disturbing trend. Wins News Time, 7:45. Congressional Democrats are pressuring the Republican House Speaker to schedule a vote on the resolution expelling George Santos from office. Santos had plenty to say about it yesterday.
Before the Thanksgiving break, the chairman of the Congressional Ethics Committee released a resolution to expel Santos, but didn't give a timeline for a vote. This new privileged resolution forces the House Speaker to schedule a vote this week. Santos spoke to reporters outside his Capitol Hill office.
I don't care. I was sent here by the people of the 3rd District of New York. I represent them, not the political class in Washington, D.C. If they want to send me home, if they think this was a fair process, if they think this is how it should be done, and if they're confident that this is a constitutional way of doing it, God bless their heart.
The renewed call for the Long Island Republicans' ouster comes after an ethics probe alleged Santos stole money from his congressional campaign to pay for his personal expenses. Marla Diamond, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, hundreds of people turned out in Atlanta yesterday for the funeral of former First Lady Rosalind Carter.
At a church in Atlanta, as they respectfully carried Mrs. Rosalind Carter inside, the first row of pews filled with U.S. presidents past and present and every living former First Lady. And then quickly, the world got a rare look at a great American citizen, former President Jimmy Carter, who was in hospice care at home, but refused to miss saying goodbye to his wife of 77 years.
That's Steve Osunsami reporting. Jimmy Carter's daughter, Amy, shared a letter her dad wrote to her mother 75 years ago while he was in the Navy. It said, quote, "When I see you, I fall in love with you all over again." Mrs. Carter will be laid to rest later on today. WINS News Time 7:47. Mayor Adams yesterday said that the 25-year-old woman who was managing his political fundraising was no longer working in that role.
With Brianna, she's no longer doing fundraising for the campaign.
Brianna Suggs is still with the mayor's campaign, has reportedly transitioned to another role. Her home was searched by the FBI a few weeks ago, kicking off the ongoing investigation into the mayor's campaign finances. Officials are looking into whether or not the Adams campaign received illegal donations from Turkey back in 2021. New York City Comptroller Brad Lander was in D.C. yesterday talking about the migrant crisis and looking for more federal funding for asylum seekers. Mr. Lander reportedly met with officials from the Biden administration.
Doing meetings with the White House and the Department of Homeland Security to advocate both for the resources and the coordination we need to help asylum seekers get on their feet and become the next generation of New Yorkers.
Lander has been one of Mayor Adams' loudest critics in the mayor's handling of the migrant crisis. It was his first trip to Washington to push for more funding. Pope Francis says he's still battling flu-like conditions and respiratory inflammation. The 86-year-old pontiff received a warm welcome during his weekly public appearance at the Vatican.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buongiorno e benvenuti.
Well, the Pope's voice was still too weak and others reading for him. The Pope was forced to skip a 3-day trip to a UN climate conference in Dubai. All right, hopefully you're finished with your breakfast because this one's a doozy. Chopped salads, giving new meaning to the term finger foods. You know, when you go into the chopped salad stores, you point out all the ingredients you'd like to mix into your yummy, healthy salad. Well, according to one lawsuit, one woman got a little something extra. Allison Cozy from Greenwich, Connecticut says that she bought a salad at the Chop store in Mount Kisco back in April. While she was eating it, she realized she was chewing, I'm gagging already, she was chewing on a portion of a human finger that had been mixed into the salad. According to the suit, a manager at the restaurant accidentally severed a piece of her left pointer finger while chopping the arugula. The manager did go to the hospital, but the contaminated arugula was still served. The store was fined $900 earlier this year. The folks at Chopped certainly taking the store name a little too seriously. By the way, you know what, arugula? I never liked you at all.
In this market, you'll find...
That's really a messed up story.
Are we all just looking for the hottest
All right, guys. Small snippet of today's news here in Northeast United States, and more specifically, the northeastern section of New Jersey. I want to thank all of the faithful viewers that tune into these Driving in the News videos. I do understand that it's not the most exciting video, it's not the most entertaining video, but I feel it's super important to document our local history. And a lot of folks say, well, the internet is recording history already. You can go on the internet and do a search on a certain story and you can see you can hear and read what was going on. You can't hear, but you can read. You can read what was going on a specific date, and that is true. But to be able to go back and actually listen to the live broadcasts of those events for that day, I think is priceless, actually. Because you only get one chance to listen to a live broadcast, unless someone records it, like a certain Freddie Cardona for a certain YouTube channel called Pride in Patterson, and for a certain playlist called Driving and the News. There you have it. All right, guys, you guys have a great day. We'll see you on the next video. Don't forget, subscribe, like, share the videos, let others know that this content exists, and that's how you can support the channel. Take care, guys. We'll see you on the next one.